All right, here we are. A sector of a circle has a central angle of 30 degrees and an arc length of 12 centimeters. Find the radius and the area of this sector. And so we get to put our proportional thinking into use here. We are given the information that the central angle is 30 degrees and that we have an arc length of 12 centimeters. So knowing that, we can now start setting up some of our proportions. And given that the central angle is 30 degrees, we're going to use the theta divided by 360, and we're going to plug in 30 as our theta. So we have 30 degrees divided by 360 degrees is equal to, and then we're also given the arc length. So that part of our proportional thinking is going to be the arc length divided by the circumference. So it's, again, part divided by whole. The 360 degrees is the part, or sorry, 30 degrees is the part, 360 is the whole of the circle. Arc length is just the portion, the part, and then the full circumference is that entire length, that whole. So we have, what was it, 12 centimeters divided by 2 pi r. And before we go too much farther, let's go ahead and simplify this down. This is, well, 30 divided by 360, that's going to be 1/12, and degrees divided by degrees, those units cancel out. So 1/12 equals 12 divided by 2, that's 6 centimeters, over, and actually let's go ahead and get rid of the centimeters. Remember that our units are in centimeters. But 12 divided by 2 is 6, divided by pi times radius. And so all we did there was just simplify each part of our proportion. Now let's go ahead and solve for radius. So if we multiply each side by 12, that'll get rid of our denominator over here. And then also multiply each side by radius, by the radius. And I'm not going to multiply by pi. You could multiply by pi and get pi r and get rid of that denominator entirely, but then we'd end up dividing by pi right after that to get radius by itself. So I'm just going to leave it there and save ourselves the step. All right, so over here, 12 divided by 12, that's 1, and we have radius times 1. So the radius equals, over here, 6 times 12 is 72, and radius divided by radius is 1, so we get rid of that unit, and then divided by pi. So 72 divided by pi. And let's grab our calculator and find out what that is roughly. So 72 divided by pi gives us right around 22.9. So yeah, right around 22.9 centimeters. There's the length of our radius. We found that now using our proportion of part over whole equals part over whole. And you'll hear me repeat that phrasing quite a lot. All right, so we found our radius. Now let's find the area of the sector. So what proportion can we set up here? Well, we know that the area of the sector is going to be, and the book uses K, so I'll use K here. The area of the sector divided by, well, that's our part. What's the whole? The whole is the entire area of the circle, so that's pi times radius squared equals 30 degrees divided by 360 degrees. And you could use the arc length divided by the circumference. Now that we know what the arc length is, or would be able to find, the arc length is 12. So you could also set up, if you wanted to instead, 12 divided by, now that you know the radius, you could plug in the radius there and kind of work your way through. But let's go with just setting it equal to 360, or 30 divided by 360. And actually we know that we already simplified that before, that's really equal to 1/12. 1/12. So we have, going to remove this part here, we have K divided by pi times the radius squared. But what is the radius squared? We actually know that. Let's plug that in. That was 22.9 squared. And so 22.9 was the radius, and that squared equals 1/12. Again, that's the 30 degrees divided by 360 degrees. Multiply each side by pi times the radius squared. So pi radius squared. And we know that that's what that is right there. Pi radius squared. Over on this left side, those denominators and what we're multiplying by cancel out. Over here we have k equals let's see, pi times, what was the radius squared? So if we had 0.29, that squared gives us 525, let's go 0.2. So 525.2. 525.2 divided by 12. And that's kind of roughly we've dropped off. Oh, no, actually we didn't drop out. Oh yeah, we dropped off the rest of our decimals here. But that's going to give us, so 525, let's multiply that by pi. And then that divided by 12. And we end up with 137.5. So something right around 137.5. And this was our sector. So this is going to be centimeters squared. 137.5 centimeters squared. All right, hope that helped.